Woo! Good afternoon, people. How are you? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing well, despite the technical difficulties. People, listen. This is happening, okay? Just anybody who doesn't seem to get this, it's happening. I have sent out links to this new stream to everyone that I invited. I think I sent it out to everyone I invited. So this is happening. And I don't even know how we're going to spend the next 12 hours, honestly. I did turn off the super chats for this because this is about Aidan. Since this is about raising money for Aidan's defense, we got Turtle Boys to free and nobody's going to stop us. So that's what we're doing.
Go home. We're not from here, dude. Go home. We're not from here.
Why is she
right up the street.
What do you think? Why is she now?
Because she's drunk.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry to interrupt all this fun, but we've got the wonderful, amazing Jimmy Anti-Deb.
Anti-Deb, I like that. What's up? I literally have until about 2. I'm writing my
really?
for the Wilbur. Almost through.
Perfect. So let's spend that time promoting the Wilbur, because if you guys have not bought your tickets to the Wilbur show on the 12th, this Friday.
Yesterday he said 130 left. The whole second mezzanine sold out.
This should not. We got 2 goals today, folks. We got 2 goals. We're raising $20,000 for Aidan's defense. That's the goal. Because we're aiming high. Why not? We can do that. And we're selling out the Wilbur. 2 goals.
I've been to the Wilbur a bunch of times. I've never seen it sold out. I've never even seen it like.
That's why it's got to be done, Jimmy.
I'm like a little shocked. I'm shocked. Like that's a big fucking deal.
It is.
It's a big deal.
Tell me what kind of music that you like. Like, who's your favorite band?
The Rolling Stones are my number one band. They always have been. But I like the Beatles and the Doors, and
All right, folks. People, for the very first time ever on this channel, please give it up for the cerebral ninja himself, Mr. David Yannetti.
Well, it's so good to see you. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, thank you for coming, man. I appreciate it. It means the world to everybody here. I promise you that.
It's great to see you again.
How's Lucky, your new cat?
He's awesome. He really bonded to my oldest son, who has left the house and gotten his old apartment. So he's kind of rediscovering the rest of the family. But
yeah. You mentioned in the messages that you were in trial, so I guess you're staying busy.
I am
as well.
Yeah. I'm
right on.
reacquainting myself with my other clients. So I was incredibly fortunate because I really could not deal with anyone else's case that I had been handling for months. For the good 4 months, we were preparing for trial and on trial with Karen's case. But my clients were incredibly understanding, and now they're all clamoring for a little bit of attention. So I'm trying to give it to them.
It's probably a good idea to do so.
Yeah.
I actually just forgot what I was going to ask you. I'm terrible at this. I don't do interviews. So, but I was going to. As far as just adjusting with everything, I mean, it can't be overstated that you took on an entire local government and beat them. And you don't have to say it, but I'll say it. I'm of the opinion of a corrupt local government, and you beat them. Did this inspire you in some way to take on similar cases moving forward in the future? What kind of impact did this have on you and how you want to move forward with your career?
One of the lessons of this case is just how much effort and manpower it takes to take on the state in a case like this. It's particularly poignant now that it's come out just how much the government spent on this case trying to convict Karen Read. I think we got the bill for the second trial the amount of money that they spent and the things that they spent them on. I mean, it's they had an unlimited budget. Part of the reason I came on today is you had told me this is a fundraiser for Aidan Kearney. I mean, without the spotlight that Aidan put on this case, would we ultimately have the resources to fight them by hiring our own very expensive experts and gathering a team together and having a hotel with a war room where we all gather and live and eat and breathe together every day, just talking about the case? Without the fundraising that he did and the advocacy he did, I fear there may have been a different outcome. So this is a big thank you to him.
Yes, thank you for that, because for me, Aidan has become a friend, but more importantly, before him and I kind of developed a friendship, I was already very passionate about his case, simply because for me personally, it's more about a fight for free speech and a fight against corruption. And I personally take that very, very much to heart. And, you know, the man spent 2 months in jail when he could have pled out, made things much easier for himself, and he's moving forward and fighting. And this is why we're here, to make sure that he has the same chance that Karen had and has the resources necessary to be able to fight this, because this is screaming a lot of the same stuff. Special appointed prosecutor Hank Brennan, and then we got special appointed prosecutor Ken Mello and special appointed prosecutor Robert Cosgrove. It just seems like they're doing anything they can. And I can't imagine what, at this point, why they would even move forward, especially considering what they know, what evidence Aidan has to be able to fight this. There's just no way that they're going to beat it. But yet, relentlessly, they're moving forward, just like they did as far as prosecuting Karen, which seems to make no sense. Especially now that Karen has been exonerated, it almost proves him right, you know?
Well, you know, it does speak to me that there is a personal animus here. I think at a certain point regarding Karen's case, it seemed to me that it had kind of crossed the line into being a personal vendetta against her. My view of the case is that they never had the evidence to get a conviction. I think they would have considered another hung jury to be a win, because they could have bled her dry of many more hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they would have kept trying her forever. I don't think they ever would have dropped the case. And you know, wow. And you bring up a really good point, which is the case that Aidan has been working on that led to him being charged was Karen's case. And his point from the beginning was, this is an innocent woman. She's being unjustly prosecuted. And I'm not just going to sit here and let it happen. I'm going to challenge what's going on here. I think he put himself in the crosshairs by taking that attitude. It took a lot of nerve and a lot of courage to do what he did, which is to put his money where his mouth is, to be locked up away from his family for 60 days. Somebody that has never been in jail before, is not a criminal,
right?
And suffered as a result of it. So he's got street cred. And you know, I'll speak for myself. I was not involved in any of Aidan's ultimate actions here. Nobody needs to be involved, because Aidan's a force to be reckoned with, and he makes his own decisions. It's funny, you know, at one point he published, I think, or somebody did on X or Facebook or one of those sites, 60 Minutes reporters going to somebody's house who is under investigation for something and knocking on the door and asking tough questions right to their face. It struck me that Aidan may have made people uncomfortable, but 60 Minutes made people uncomfortable too. And we all have a First Amendment right to ask questions, the media in particular. I think
and we as the public have a right to those answers, to certain ones.
Exactly. So I think they're going to have a tough time convicting him. That's if he had ordinary run-of-the-mill lawyers. He doesn't. He has at least 2 excellent lawyers. I've known Tim Bradle for a long, long time. Tim is an assassin in the courtroom. He's a great lawyer. And Mark Betterow, I've come to know as a result of this process, and we all know he's brilliant. So Aidan's in very good hands. I'm confident in the end he'll win out. But you know, I think he does need people's help. This is expensive.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because again, Aidan is also fighting a corrupt local government. Yeah, so he does need our help, and that's what this is all about. In regards to the Karen Reed case, I remember there was a moment when I was in the courtroom. There were two occasions which were great, but one that sticks out in particular is when I asked you February 2nd filing that you did for of 2022, where you wanted all discovery, you wanted all evidence, that you filed a motion for all of the evidence. And I remember asking you, because I thought they're supposed to do that anyway. Most attorneys would just wait until they realize that they're not getting it before they have to file a motion for it. But immediately, the day of her arraignment, you filed for this motion. And I remember asking you, did you feel like something was absolutely wrong? And you just nodded your head at me and said, from the beginning.
There were three major isolated moments that led me to that conclusion. A couple that happened right from day one, and then one that happened a few months later. What happened right from day one, I had heard what the allegations were. It sounded to me like this was a sort of run-of-the-mill motor vehicle homicide case. Many criminal defense attorneys have handled dozens of them. I certainly have. Really, every other time I've been presented with a situation like this where my clients called me and said that, hey, I'm being suspected of having done X, Y, and Z, I would send a letter of representation immediately out to the investigators in the district attorney's office and say, hey, my client has no record. He or she has hired me. I will surrender her to any police department or courthouse that you direct me to. Just give me a call. Here's my cell phone. Here's my email address. I had never before had a district attorney's office and a police department ignore that promise of cooperation. I think most people know, I was an assistant DA for 10 years. I devoted a decade of my life to, being on the other side. I think that had served me well in terms of law enforcement being able to trust my word, and I've never gone back on my word. So I expected that would happen. And when they arrested my client without telling me about it, locking her up when, she's in a pair of jeans and a COVID mask and all alone at night, that was my first inkling that this is going to be a little different. We've got a battle on our hands, more so than just a battle within the courtroom, but this appears to be somewhat political. I said that at arraignment, that I think there was a lot of pressure on them because a police officer was the victim. And then the second thing that happened immediately is that I show up at court and I learned that they didn't just charge her with motor vehicle homicide. They made the wild and crazy allegation that she intended to do this, and they charged her with manslaughter. And so I'm clamoring after discovery material. I can't get any. They gave me a bare bones affidavit at arraignment. I'm reading it, on the fly with my client in lockup, and I'm looking and I'm saying, I don't see any criminal intent here. Where's the evidence of criminal intent? Why is this a manslaughter case? I suspected at that time it was a manslaughter case because they wanted to lock her up. They asked for $50,000 cash bail, not knowing whether she could post it or not. Thank God she did. And then the third thing that happened that further shocked me is, the case is pending in Stoughton District Court for quite a while. I'm having the most difficult time getting basic discovery material from them. I filed that motion for discovery at her Stoughton District Court arraignment, in part because of the fact that they locked her up behind my back, but also I need to get going. I need to start my investigation. I need to find out who they talked to and who I can talk to that they haven't. And obviously I found people that they had not talked to and they probably didn't want to talk to. But then, she makes all her court appearances. Everything is, we're completely in compliance. Clearly, she's not fleeing anywhere. She has nowhere to go. They asked the grand jury to indict her for second-degree murder, and I was flabbergasted. Manslaughter was a reach. I said that from day one. It was not an appropriate charge. There was no criminal intent in terms of the evidence that they had. And now they've gone and upped the charges. You can get a grand jury to indict on whatever you asked them to. And that's what they did here so that they could lock her up again. And this time they wanted $500,000 bail. So you asked me, did I have some suspicion from day one that this case was going to be a little different? This was going to be a full-on press to do whatever they could to lock up Karen Read? The answer is yes. And so, we had to meet that with equal force. And ultimately, it took the brain power and the skill and the energy of 4 lawyers working full-time to combat this. And, thank God we all worked in concert together, pulled for each other, and did what had to be done.
Yeah, I got to tell you, on a personal note, when I started talking about this case, and the more I dug into it, because it's the strangest thing, because it's the shadiest case that I've ever even looked into in the first place. And then, strangely enough, all court filings, everything was available. It was as if they were telling the public, yeah, we're doing this and we don't care what you think about it. It's really bizarre. I don't know if you know who Sleuthy Goosey is, but she's kind of the unsung hero of the YouTube, besides Aidan, of course, because she created a spreadsheet with everything in regards to Karen's case. All of the filings, everything, timelines and phone records, everything that was made available. And it was really, really helpful. I was shocked once I got because somebody told me about it, and I thought, oh, there's our boy. He says,
Aidan, how are you? Good to see you. Or I'm not seeing you, but good to be seen, I guess.
Besides Aidan, her doing that, I didn't realize that there were so many people locally that were following this, and then all of a sudden, seemed like half of Boston joined my chat. And it was like, and they're watching me discover things here and go and question things and go, wait a minute, something's wrong here. And they're like, yes, Will. They're blasting my chat with, yes, Will, you got it. And then I'm realizing how much of a passionate thing this was for so many people locally there already.
And then, Will, I mean, you joined us at the courthouse more than once, and I would imagine, I don't want to speak for you, but I would imagine that, like, the passion that you saw from afar, when you're in the middle of it, it's a whole different ballgame, isn't it?
You just brought up my next point. I was just going to tell you that once I started interacting with all of you and got to be a fly on the wall and just watch you guys interact with each other and see how passionate you were, and just see your personal camaraderie. You could very much tell how much you respect each other as a team, and everybody had their place and their strengths, and everyone knew what to do. And Karen too, being such a big part of that, a big part of her own defense. That has become the most inspiring thing. Covering this case and the experiences that I've had and meeting the people and interacting with the people that I've had throughout this has easily been the most profound and rewarding experience of my life, spiritually and every other way. I've never been a part of something so important. I never would have thought that I would be. And I want to thank you for being so gracious while I was there, being so hospitable.
Having the support that we did from the public, it put gas in our tank, it put air under our wings. It was a tremendous boost for us. There's not this public attention to most cases that you handle as a lawyer. If the public is aware of the case at all, a lot of times they're against you. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people, maybe this case has changed it, but a lot of people, when they hear allegations, immediately think, what did that dirtbag do? Or, they automatically assume that somebody's guilty. And I think this case, served a tremendous purpose beyond Karen's acquittal and justice being served just in this case. But I think it opened people's eyes up to, wait a minute now. If there's an allegation that's made, why don't you take a beat? Wait till you hear some evidence and then make up your mind, as opposed to tarring and feathering somebody just because they've been arrested for something that's not a popular crime or even a heinous crime. They're still presumed to be innocent. This country was founded on that bedrock principle, which is, we don't do show trials, we don't convict somebody in the press, and we need to keep an open mind because we're better than other countries in that way.
Which is exactly what Michael Morrissey did. He attempted to convict Karen Read in the press, which is one of the most unethical things I've ever seen an attorney or a DA do since I've started covering cases. I've been on YouTube for about 6 years. I've covered a lot of trials, and I've never seen anything like this. And I've never seen this kind of behavior from officers. I've never seen this kind of behavior from a district attorney, prosecutors.
Particularly from an elected district attorney. I have some perspective here because I worked with several of them very closely. So I know how a professional district attorney acts and what they do and what their ethics are and what their legal knowledge is, quite frankly. It's no secret that I was very disappointed in that statement that Mr. Morrissey came out with when the case was still pending. There are still potential jurors out there, all of whom are supposed to come into court with an open mind. And for an elected district attorney, to come out and start talking about the supposed guilt of somebody that he's prosecuting in the media, not in the courtroom, I thought was unprofessional and unethical. And I said so in open court. It's you just don't do that. And I believe Michael Morrissey has never actually, been a prosecutor. I don't know if he's ever tried a case, but there's got to be somebody in that office that would have said to him, hey, Mr. Morrissey, maybe it wouldn't be a good idea for you to do this. Who was there to put the brakes on that? Where were the adults in the room? I'm still waiting for an answer for that.
Right. I mean, it was really, really strange that he even did that. And it can't be denied that a lot of that, if not in part fully, that Aidan, inspired this insane action from Michael Morrissey based on the things that he was saying. Colin Albert was not in the house. Repeating these things and over and over again, saying, it needs to stop because he's trying to control what the narrative is. And Aidan had gotten a hold of this narrative and it became his to tell, and I'm of the opinion, I've seen nothing but receipts from Aidan. He might have an unorthodox method, but he hasn't lied yet as far as this reporting goes, as far as this case. And he's been right about everything as far as this case so far.
Well, you bring up a good point, which is that I suspect what's going on here is this case was unorthodox in so many ways. But one way in particular related to this topic is that the prosecution is used to controlling the narrative. The way a high-profile case normally behaves is there's a big splash when somebody's arrested. There's a big splash at arraignment. The defense typically does not reveal their defense. A lot of times the defense is on its heels because it does not fully know what the allegations are. And so what gets reported is Joe Blow is arrested. Here's Joe Blow in handcuffs before a judge, having the charges read to him. It's broadcast, and then the media goes silent. The defense may be investigating the case. They may be, learning that the charges are not what they're cracked up to be, but nobody's paying attention. And then the media only pays attention again when there's a trial. And once again, the prosecution goes first at trial. And so, they have multiple opportunities to get their narrative out there, and the defense is at a handicap. Now, obviously,
it's like a home team, a home field advantage, more or less.
Big time. Yeah, big time. This is like the old Boston Garden where, the Celtics knew where all the dead spots were in the parquet floor. It just wasn't fair to the other side. And, this case was different. This case was handled differently. You talk about unorthodox. It was an unorthodox strategy by the defense in this case. In terms of really getting our theory out in the press, mainly through pretrial motions, and people knew where we were going. I think our ultimate feeling was it doesn't matter, because you can know where we're going, but you can't combat where we're going. There was reasonable doubt in this case from the beginning, not just with regard to the overcharges, but with regard to the motor vehicle homicide too. I think it wasn't even a close call during the second trial.
I'm going to ask you a couple things that you may or may not be able to answer. Just feel free to just be like, yeah, I can't answer that. But in regards to the alleged video that the news initially, when they first reported that Karen was arrested and charged, supposedly Ring camera footage, the news reported this. Was there Ring camera footage? Because a lot of people are speculating that there was, but they didn't want to present it because it proved that Karen didn't hit Boston police officer John O'Keefe with her vehicle.
Well, if there was Ring camera footage, we never saw it. From a very early juncture in this case, we looked for it. I had an investigator on day one. My investigator found Brian Lucky Loughran. It's just unbelievable that investigators never, and he works for the town of Canton. It was a blizzard and nobody thought to go check and interview the plow driver. Well, my investigator also canvassed the neighborhood, and there were Ring cameras in that neighborhood that should have recorded what went on between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Right.
On January 29th of 2022. There were Ring cameras, but no video was ever produced.
Wow.
I mean, at least not to our knowledge. I mean, I can't imagine that it was produced in the hands of the prosecution and that they buried it. I don't think that they would go that far, but who the heck knows?
Two more questions.
Sure.
And then I'll let you off the hook. I appreciate you so much for joining.
No, my pleasure.
On the steps of the courthouse, Karen said nobody has fought harder for justice for Boston police officer John O'Keefe than myself. Do you feel that this civil suit still holds a chance? This is just a personal opinion of yours that I'm asking for. Do you feel that this civil suit holds a chance of justice being achieved for Boston police officer John O'Keefe still? Is there still a chance in your opinion? And in the sense that, like, are things going to be able to come up that couldn't come up in the criminal case that might facilitate that?
There is no right to a deposition in a criminal case. We can't just call in everybody that was at the party into our offices and question them under oath for hours about whatever comes into our minds. But there is a right of deposition in civil cases. So I expect that those depositions, despite the fact that people are on record multiple times, when they're on record, they're still subject to the rules of evidence, or they're being asked selective questions by the prosecution and the grand jury. If they're deposed by opposing counsel, I expect there's going to be a plethora of information that comes out that people did not know before. That information, to the extent that it's relevant at the civil trial, will come out. So I have no idea what's going to happen with the civil trial. Most civil cases settle. I suspect that this civil case might go to trial. So if it does, I think there's going to be still a lot of attention that people are going to pay to it. They're going to be very interested for the very reason that you bring up in your questions, which is what else is there out there?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I kind of wanted to hear. Last question. Since this is all about raising money for Aidan, I know everyone here wants to know, because everybody,
are talking about,
by the way, everyone in the chat,
what are they saying?
Fans of mine are expecting me to ask about the shoe. I won't do
attorney
that to you. I got your answer
a
from the
black
Diaries
sold
podcast.
shoe, dude.
But can we and all the other Turtle Riders expect a formal interview with you and Aidan anytime soon?
So to that, I would say stay tuned.
Okay.
2 words.
Good enough. Good enough. David, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I know you told me you had 20 to 30 minutes. We're almost at 40. So,
okay. Well, it was fun. It flew by.
yeah. I mean, you're welcome to stay if you want, but I'm sure you've got other things to do. But
yeah, I kind of have a full plate here. So it was great to see you, Will. You know, God bless you for the work that you're doing, and hello to all your fans out there, and my best wishes for a good Sunday.
Thanks, David. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining. This meant the world to me and everybody here. I promise you that.
My pleasure. You take care.
All right, you too, David. From Young Jerks, folks, Mr. Mike Crawford.
Blair, how you doing?
What's up, homie?
I'm friggin' like half asleep today, but I got pumped up. When I saw Yannetti come on your show today, I was like, oh,
dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still shaking from it.
I love you doing this. I gotta say, like, I'm glad, number one, you're doing this, because I know, because I'm being sued right now civilly, how much it friggin' costs. Like, every time your lawyer does something for you, and these lawyers are doing 10, 20, 30 pages at a time, so like that hourly rate, and I can't imagine.
Oh my God,
the criminal. Like, so this is huge. I'm glad you're doing this for Aidan. I'm glad you invited me, and I'm glad that Yannetti came on here, because I feel like we need this. Like, we really do. We need more of that. Like, frankly, I just got to be like, because there was a real friggin' movement here, and I just seen a lot of shit. Like, and not just these lawyers, not just me, not you. Like, everyone in the community is at odds right now. Like, let's just be serious. It's a lot of, and it doesn't need to be that way. And Turtle Boy, for me and you, like, that's why I'm here. You know that, and that's why you invited me. I'm so thankful. We agree so 100% on that, and we just, I'm glad to hear Yannetti talking about it. Like, because that's what we need. We need more of that. It can't just be Bettero. It just can't be Bettero and Melanie. I mean, she's doing great, but we need a lot more. Come on, because this is journalism. Like, if this happens to Aidan, there's going to be other people. Like, this is not. We need to stop this. This is, and especially what's going on right now with the mega motion, and the fact that they're not letting the judge rule. The judge ruled against Aidan on some shit, and it's like these journalists, the big time ones that have the resources, time, and energy, need to go out and get that information. They need to ask the judge about it. So I just think we should all be talking about this Turtle Boy case as much as possible. I've been trying to take a little break. I'm dealing with some bullshit in my life, health issues.
Sorry, man.
It's not nothing. It's not. I don't want any sympathy. I'm just letting people know, like, it's nothing. I'll be fine. Just sometimes you need a break, and I just trying to take a break because I know what's upcoming, and it's this Turtle Boy. Like, we're all in on this, and all these other cases too, but especially Aidan Kearney. Like, this needs to be the focus, and people need to unite a little bit again on that. If you care about journalism, police corruption, everything that we've been doing for the last 2 years.
Right. Agreed. Agreed 100%. I mean, and it's like when I was talking to David just now and talking about that Michael Morrissey hostage video, that infamous hostage video that he did that was so unethical. It can't be overlooked that Turtle Boy was the reason he did that, because I mean, that is Turtle Boy rattling the right cages. That right there, for him to do something that unethical, means that he was scared. And that means, and the stuff that he was talking about is stuff that Aidan has been talking about at the time. And there was and created all this buzz. And that right there, that hostage video proved how much Aidan's reporting scared the shit out of the right person.
Exactly.
For that person to risk his entire reputation and career by doing that means that Turtle Boy scared the shit out of him.
That's right.
You know what I mean? This is why we need to support Turtle Boy. This is why.
Yeah, and there's more evidence of that too, what you're saying, because we got the emails, Michael Morrissey's emails. He is Turtle. I said this on Grace's show. Turtle Boy derangement syndrome. Like, he has it in those emails. He's like the biggest rat shit about it. He's all worried about what everyone's saying about him. And it's like what we were all saying for the longest time, that these guys were paying attention to our YouTube shows. Like, that's how concerned he was. He was watching every single Turtle Boy show. He was so upset that Turtle Boy had any support anywhere and he's crying about the governor and crying about the AG because they're not going after Turtle Boy. It's like he's crying to everyone. He's crying to his workers, the state police. He was crying to his district attorney. He was crying to everyone he could. He was crying to other courts, other judges. Like, we saw him crying in emails over and over and over again to different people, crying to the feds about Aidan, about Turtle Boy. So
Yeah.
all of it. Again, it just, and thank God, because now we know what kind of public servant Michael Morrissey is.
And just to quickly address the stupid little elephant in the room. I mean, you and I had our issues before, but the only reason I'm bringing that up is like if you all can see me and Mike Crawford sitting up here getting along great and finding, realizing that any differences that we had are nothing but petty, like you guys can do that amongst each other. Come on, what I mean?
It totally too. It's like see the best in each other. Like I see a lot
Right.
in you, Will, that I like, and
Same
and, like,
here.
Even when we were fighting, it's like, that's the reason I think it bothered me, honestly, because I liked you, like, and I like what you do,
Yeah.
like, and the fact is, like, we're together on Turtle Boy, I
Right.
know you're there, and it's like I am too. So it's just like that brought us together too. I think people need to focus on when we have the same cause. Let's get together. Like, let's do that. Like, if we
Facts. I mean, we've got the same. We're on the same team here, everybody. And just because there might be two people that we very much respect that might be having issues, those issues are none of our business, and they got nothing to do with why we're here. We're here because Aidan is fighting corruption. We initially got here because Karen was fighting corruption, being framed for something that she didn't do, and it brought us all together. And Aidan was the biggest part in bringing us all together on that. This stream is about not forgetting that and remembering why Aidan did it and why it's important. And it's because, like you said, freedom of the press is, freedom of speech. This is, if you don't support what Aidan is doing and what he's fighting, you're just un-American. I don't give a shit what you say. You're just un-American.
Right.
And
if you look at Bradle too, like, Bradle's represented so many people this year on similar charges than Turtle Boy. Like, so Turtle Boy's not the only one. There's been cases in Everett. There's been a lot of cases related to the Ducks that we talked about. We all talked about. But it's like his is the biggest case of all, though. Like, because his name and his reputation and what he's done and the journalism that he's done and the history of it. So if we let them get away with winning on Turtle Boy, it's gonna fuck a lot of people who don't have any kind of support or backing. We get so many email and messages for people that need support, and oftentimes we don't have the time, energy, or even just bandwidth to even look into it. But you just know some of it's just awful, and it's not for the right reasons, and it's because people in power don't like what some citizen said. And it may not even be right what they said, but should they go to jail? Should they lose their job? Should they lose their houses? Should they get sued? This stuff, it needs to stop. It really does, especially on the level of a Turtle Boy. Like that, he's the biggest one of all. So we really have to win this. We have to win this if you care about the free press.
this affects everyone. Like, if Turtle Boy gets convicted of this, it will set an extremely dangerous precedent. Every dollar that you guys donate to Aidan's defense fund is a brick in the wall that is being built to block their efforts to take your free speech. That is the way you have to look at that. Your free speech. I do not squander my free speech, as you could tell by how I run my show. I do not squander it. I love being able to say whatever the fuck I want. I love not having to censor myself.
You have to realize there's a cost to this free speech.
Right.
There's a financial cost. I'm suffering right now. I think someone has why I'm getting sued. Defamation. Something I said on my show. It's ridiculous. Like, if you read the lawsuit, I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't want to have more paperwork and more lawyer costs. That's what I'm saying. This shit costs money.
Right.
Like what Aidan is doing cost him money. People see all the money that he's getting donations. You don't see all the money that's going out the door for lawyers.
Right.
And that's what Aidan's doing right now. He could easily, I'm sure, take some kind of bullshit deal, try to cheap it, go cheap on the lawyers, try to get some cheap lawyers. That's what people tell me to do. No. We're defending. We're going all out for our free speech and your free speech too. Like we're throwing it all down. Like that's what Aidan's doing. Think about what he's risking.
Right.
So I hope everyone donates. Please donate.
I can't
This is
believe
what we need.
Can't believe we're raising money by talking about music. For the next 60 seconds at least, this will be the Mike Young Crawford show because I got to get up and go to the bathroom for a second.
You do. I'll let you go to the bathroom.
Thanks, man.
Take it over. I just want to thank everyone for watching and donating today.
I don't know where my personality would be if it hadn't been for so much musical influence
Thank
that
God.
I've had over my life.
How many people you meet too, you know? That's another.
That was some of the funnest that I've ever had is being in bands, just playing shows that like 10 people might show up to. That show we played, here, I'll even give you a little treat here.
What's the name of your band?
We were called Hatchet Face.
Hatchet Face.
I was sick as a dog. I remember this. I was so bad with the flu that day.
Let them see who's next to try. Did I try? Hell nah, nigga, G shit. For all my homies in the band, many beers dead, nigga still bum. Now, can't find a way back doors. Oh, can't find a reason for life. Can't find a
All right, I won't leave that much because the sound is not very good.
Were you on the right
I
or
was
left?
on the left playing bass.